Okay, so good evening and welcome to our episode 9. Before we start, as usual, let's begin with our gratitude attitude. So, first of all, let's take a couple of deep breaths and settle down. When you exhale, just relax your body. Take one more deep breath and relax your body. Now, think of one thing that happened in your life in the last 1 week which you are thankful for. And try to be innovative. When I always ask this question in public, people invariably come up with, I'm thankful for my high health, my family, and I get that. But idea is to pinpoint one thing. Somebody did a nice thing for you, someone out of the blue, right? Something which you weren't expecting. Idea is that we start making that habit, we'll start seeing uh, gratitude in daily life. So once you identify that, think about why you are thankful for that item. And now let it be free. Say it out loud if you're by yourself, or tell to your partner if you're with someone. Okay. So we started talking about karma over the last 2 weeks. So we'll continue on that series. And today we'll discuss types of actions or types of karma. First, let's start with non-virtuous or negative actions. There are just about a million negative karma we can create, right? However, all of those mostly fall into 10 negative actions or 10 karmas. So those are 10 broad categories which most every action we take. And they are killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, hurtful speech, idle chatter, covetousness, malice, and holding wrong views. So out of these 10, the first three are bodily actions: killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. The next four are speech actions: lying, divisive speech, hurtful speech, idle chatter. In today's day and age, we don't even say it out loud somewhere, we just do it on social media, but still considered a speech action. And last three are mental actions: covetousness, malice, and holding wrong views. So we'll look at each one. Okay. Let's take killing first. First thing we say is, you know what, I have not killed anyone, so I'm good there. Let's slow down. If we killed a mosquito with an intention to kill, that's a killing action, no different than committing a first degree murder. Think about that. If we kill a mosquito with an intention to kill, that's equivalent to first degree murder. Because again, we wanted to kill that, right? So there was a premeditation. If we accidentally killed a living being, then there's no negative karma attached to it. So, that's something to be mindful of. That, you're walking and you accidentally stop on an ant and you realize there's no negative karma, right? Obviously, we won't try and avoid that. So there needs to be 4 specific factors for us to suffer consequences of a negative action. The object, so in this case, the mosquito. Intention, I want to kill it. Preparation, I lift my hand, or a squatter if I have one. And the completion, meaning actually kill the mosquito, right? So those 4 things have to happen before we can suffer the negative consequences of that action. Something else to note as well. Let's say you're trying to kill a mosquito and the mosquito flies away. And by mistake, your squatter hits a table and there is a fly sitting there and you end up killing a fly. There is absolutely no negative uh, consequences attached to as far as karma is concerned because you didn't intend to kill a fly, right? It was sitting there, it wasn't even on your radar, and you were after the mosquito. So that's an important distinction. Also, if we ask someone else to kill it for us, right? So if there's a mosquito, and then if you're in India and you have some, you know, peons working for you, say, hey, can you kill that mosquito? And the poor guy kills it. Now both of you suffer the consequences because you directed the person actually killed it. Right? That's something to bear in mind. Next, let's look at stealing. Again, when we think about stealing, say, hey, I never stole anything from anyone. Let's back up a little bit, right? Let's look at it a little bit deeper. If you ever took work product from one job to another, for example, right? That is a form of stealing. Defaulting on a loan, right, is a form of stealing. Not paying your taxes is a form of stealing, right? So stealing means anything that is not freely given to us. If you manipulate, bribe, blackmail to get something, that's stealing. Sexual misconduct is another type of bodily negative action. Lying is a negative action of speech. But as I mentioned, nowadays, you don't have to say it out loud. You can actually write it, or you can remain silent. We all heard this classic example in Mahabharata, right? That Aswatthama is dead, and he said yes, but it happened to be elephant, although the context was the guru, right? So that is a form of lying. Uh, Divisive speech is something when we create division between people, and that's a lot of those is going on in today's world, right? People make up statements just to incite violence and hatred amongst group of people. We are hell bent on dividing people, it seems. There's also a divisive speech of gossip, right? When people get together, they talk about someone else who's not there and create a rift amongst friends. The hurtful speech is a speech that is intended to hurt someone. So sarcasm, for example, is a form of hurtful speech. Posting on social media is a form of hurtful speech if it is intended that way, right? So we talked about this before, I think, before we post anything on social media, contemplate, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If answer to any one of them is no, don't do it. Idle chatter is the least affecting negative karma. It doesn't, it just means meaningless conversation. It's not going to affect you a whole lot. Covetousness, on the other hand, is where one desires something that does not belong to them. So, if you if someone plots to take something from someone else, a job or a higher position or a partner, whatever that happens to be, right? And this is only one karma that creates negative results, even just with a train of thought. So it doesn't even have to have an action attached to it. Malice is expressing ill will towards other people to harm them. And holding wrong views where we reject universal truth, like, I don't believe in death and birth, or I don't believe in karma, or so on. Again, it's not consequential when it comes to suffering attached to that. So these are the 10 types of negative actions. If we commit ourselves to avoid these 10 negative karma, right, our lives will drastically improve, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. So this is a lot of food for thought. We'll talk about a little bit in questions session. So what we'll do in meditation today is we'll settle down in our hearts as always. We'll contemplate how negative karma can affect our present life as well as our future. And after that contemplation, we'll just make a determination that will avoid all negative karma as long as possible, right? And one thing we can do is we can say, okay, I'll avoid for a day, right? You pick one thing, right? We don't have to do all 10. Say, pick one thing and say, I'm going to avoid this negative karma. I won't lie to anyone for 24 hours, right? So the idea is we don't want to say it for life, because then, it puts in a situation. So let's start with a day, and then we'll hold that determination for a minute or two. So that's the plan. Uh, if we are ready, let's begin with our meditation in that case. So let's get into a meditation posture. Either you are cross-seated, or if you are on a chair, make sure your legs are straight at least, not crossed. Your back is erect, eyes gently closed. Just keep your mouth a little bit open. What that does is it releases tension in your jaw. Those of you who are meditating at home, hopefully all of you, 5-10 minutes, just before you start, make sure you check your posture. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, relax your body. Take one more deep breath. This time, completely relax your body. Now, Focus on the sensation of your breath. Feel the cool air coming in, warm air going out. Just focus for a minute or two on your breath. If a thought arises in your mind, just gently acknowledge your thought. Don't try to chase it, and it should go away. If you find yourself chasing your thought, please go back to sensation of your breath for about 5 breaths, and it should go away. Again, if a thought arises, just gently acknowledge it, and it will go away. Don't try to chase it. If you find yourself chasing your thought, please come back. Focus on your breath for about 5 breaths. Now that you're settled down, let's think about the 10 negative actions we talked about today. Because every time we commit a non-virtuous or a negative karma, we are putting an imprint that will ripen at the right time and we'll end up suffering the consequences of that action. And that action could be way down the line in future. Let's think about how many negative actions we have performed just in last 1 week. And how we can avoid that moving forward. Contemplate that on your own for a minute or so. Now that we thought about that, pick one negative action which you are prone to and commit yourself to avoid that for 24 hours. I must avoid X for the next 24 hours. Make that determination and hold that determination in your mind single pointedly for a minute or so. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. I hope everyone's okay. I can hear deep breathing in one background. Uh, I hope everyone's okay.
Everybody's okay.
Okay. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Uh, we talked about killing the mosquitoes or ant or anything.
Right.
Now, this is probably one of the Jainism's principle. They don't kill anybody. On other hand, if you see, the whole world is the ecosystem or how the things are that one animal is food for other and second one is for third and likewise, and the whole cycle goes on basically. And probably we are the part of that cycle basically. Probably we are at a different level compared to the other animals in terms of evolution or intelligence or getting other tools which other animals do not have. But probably in the primitive time, we were more of involved in that situation. And most of the time, the killing is the part of the action for the survival rather than a intention of killing somebody. Like murdering somebody is a different thing, but killing somebody is more like a part of the survival that this is either I die or I survive.
No, I get that. So life needs life to survive. I agree with you that much. But which type of life you need to survive, right? Today you are in a situation where you are not a hunter gatherer, right? So a plant-based diet, for example, right? We are all vegetarian, most of us here, uh, which doesn't require killing an animal, right? That is something we should try to practice. That's number one. Number two, when they talk about killing, killing with an intention to kill is what's defined as. See, when a lion kills an antler, right? Lion has no consciousness which can uh, create that karma for lion, and it doesn't know the difference between right and wrong, right? We, on the other hand, have that discrimination capability, right? We are a much more evolved, uh, uh, animal, if you will, that we have that consciousness. We create that karma, and because of that, that killing that mosquito, if you kill that by accident, you are creating no negative karma, right? You are creating negative karma. And my brother and I talked about a lot about this because we both used to uh, kill this with a vengeance, right? Mosquito goes, "Ah, I'm going to kill the mosquito," right? So that vengeance, that's the first degree murder part I'm talking about, right? That, you're not, you can get away from a mosquito without killing it, right? You can put, a mosquito net or something. You can just do this and it will fly away, right? Don't have to kill it. And that's where the difference is. That you're right. Evolution 100,000 years ago, probably we did that on a daily basis, but we are not that anymore, right? Today, we have that option to walk away. And that's where, we can stop creating that negative karma so that, we idea is to clean up this mess we have created for ourselves, right? This cycle of birth and death that happens because of the karma we create. So hopefully that answers your question.
No, I understand. Like definitely that we are much better in terms of evolution and circumstances are different where we can have a better choices rather than what we had probably 50,000 years back as a humankind.
Okay. Premal, do you want to add anything?
So by that example, let's say you're farming, right? You're raising animals eventually to kill them. Does that constitute?
Absolutely.
That is an intentional killing.
Right. So if you are so there are two types of farmer, right? If you're a rancher who is raising cow so that they can sell to a butcher, then that is your negative action. But if you're a rancher like my friend Bill, she raises a cow not to kill, just to get the milk. Now there is a school of thought which says just getting the milk from a cow is considered form of stealing because you are not you don't have permission from the cow to do it. But that's a different discussion for a different day. But there is a school of thought which thinks that way as well. So it depends on how deep you want to get into this.
But in that doesn't she have a right since she's feeding the cow?
No, see then what's the difference between you and a slaveholder, right?
Yeah.
So
a quick question.
Yeah.
So from this karma theory, the goal for us is to whatever lifespan we have.
Right.
The goal for us to even out the bad karma and good karma at the end.
So that goal for us is to finish all your negative karmas and create good karmas. So that has its own advantages. Now, even if you just even out, like you mentioned, that takes you to liberation, right? Means moksha, mukti, whatever that case may be, right? Whatever the word you want to use.
Correct.
But then if you want to actually go one step further and you want to be an enlightened being where you can help other people get liberation, then you want to remove all the negative karmas and increase the positive karmas. So there are two steps, but either one is just fine, right? Because if
Makes sense, though.
Yeah, pardon me?
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other question? Good discussion today. I like it. So we'll continue this karma series for at least another couple of sessions. And then once we are done with this, all this karma series was just 30 minutes pure discussion session we can keep so that we can, have a good discussion. And all of these things, I'm putting it on the blog so we can go refer to it when necessary.
Okay.